Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the Future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
What do we got for some quick hits, V?
Well, Kanye is back at it again with the white vans, but that is a deep one. That was a
deep cut.
But yes,
Kanye's on one.
Kanye's on one. He is on the tweeting spree. He is been going on and on about getting him and Drake and Kendrick and J. Cole all in a room, kind of like resurfacing some of their beef, but also like wanting to like bring them all together. And then the main stuff that he's been doing the past couple of days is going into like all the legalities of record contracts and like putting all of like his contracts and everything like up on his tweets, and even like talking about everything to the point of like, he's like, I'm serious about this. Like, this is like modern day slavery and like whatever. And it shows him, then he had a tweet of him peeing on one of his Grammys to be like, this is how serious I am about how record deals and like record companies are enslaving us. Like, this is nothing. This means nothing.
I'm kind of like, out of all the rants and all the craziness, like this one right here is something I'm kind of like feeling a shift in like corporations happening right now. Mm-hmm. Kanye's such a money generator for all these different corporations that I'd be a little frustrated too, with kind of like the current state of affairs of how business works. Like, I don't think we're living in a world right now where we have to, you can agree to certain terms, like this is how much money I'm gonna make for this deal, but like people like Kanye are like kind of stepping forward and being like pioneers, I guess, and essentially of looking like the crazy person to be like, look, these contracts are bullshit. Why do we have to put everything like, dude, it's 2020. Can we talk in layman's terms? Like sometimes like make things more like, understandable in contracts, or also like, he was talking about wanting to get in a room with like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Jay-Z, if they all get in a room and have conversations about business and the culture and how, this could really like, really shake up things in companies like, like record companies, Spotify, streaming companies, YouTube, like, anything. Because if these people choose to be like, we're no longer going to be like creating you guys billions of dollars and not like gonna have a seat on the board of any of these companies. Like, you're telling me that white dude sitting on a chair in this company for Adidas is making more money than Kanye, who's actually like out here doing the work, like, and creating the hype for this stuff, and he doesn't have any like control of being like, I don't know. Like, to me, it's kind of, it makes sense to me. I think, there's a lot of different things happening right now in content that are interesting to me that kind of resonate with this topic. Like, I'm not just seeing Kanye being crazy right now. I'm seeing like Joe Rogan getting, upwards of like $250 million for a contract for, licensing his show for 3 years. I'm looking at like Joe Budden leaving he was like one of the first exclusive people to have an exclusive deal for podcasts with a big company like Spotify. And now why is he leaving? Like, it's just, these companies are, and we'll talk about it more when we talk about our main topic later, but like, we're all just pieces to these companies to just sell us things and use us to make money so they get richer, and we just are not like any of the wiser. So I want to say, like, this podcast, we've talked about like digital streaming platforms in the past and stuff, but I do want to be on the forefront of like what could happen. You guys are listening in real time. Future Bachelor, you see our growth, you see where we started, you see, the guests we're starting to get on here and stuff. This is all slowly and incremental, but at some point, we are we are the people that are in charge of our worth and what we're worth and what we're wanting to do and how much, you know, we're going to make and what we're going to, you know, and I think it's super important for content creators to kind of like read between the lines for like big money producers like Kanye. Yes, it will make you a crazy person that you say things, but like if you can read between the lines, you know, I think there's a little sense to be made here. I think there's power in people getting together and talking. What do you think?
I think so. I think there definitely is, like, especially with, like, I mean, Kanye has his own, like, different production companies. Jay-Z, all these people, like, have, like, different pieces already of, like, this larger industry. I actually saw, and also Russ did some tweets about kind of along the same thread of this conversation of, like, you know, we could never, like, you know, Nipsey was out here, like, putting out like mixtapes and things and like having people buy them for like big money. And he's like, why is, like, you know, we've been trained to like think that like something that's like music's very valuable to pretty much everybody I know. I mean, it's super valuable to you and me, like you, because it's like something you enjoy doing. And for me as like a consumer and like as someone who enjoys like the feelings and every like the value that music brings to our lives is so huge, but like we could never, because of like how systems are at play, like we can't like fathom playing like more than $20 for an album, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, but we pay like $1,000 for like a Supreme sweatshirt. I wouldn't personally,
right?
But like that's that's kind of like the fucked up thing.
Is if you want to set your price, like, you know, and be like, I'm worth this, like Kanye always has. Then that's your price. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you let everyone else call you crazy for whatever, but like it's not unattainable for him. Like, honestly, it's just like look at his you know, track record. So yeah, I mean, you could look at this as another crazy rant. I'm looking at this as like, you know, a kind of a check in my head to kind of you know, I don't know. I think it goes down to even things like when we're negotiating like a new contract with work, or like if we're, you know, even trying to get a new job or something like that. You know, people tell you like, this is the price. You know, what is your price to, you know, sit for 8 hours and give that attention to a company, you know, 52 weeks a year? You know, it's like 5 days a week. It's to me, it's got me considering even on that basic level, right?
Yeah.
You know, what is really worth, and also like, I think like we'll always survive. Like, I don't think like me and you are the type of people, you know, I think we can put a worth on ourselves and be worth all that, you know. So what else we got?